So we're excited to get to the completion of this 3-part mini-series where we talk about the cost bucket number 2. We just covered utilities and the disconnect thereof, as well as lot preparation as it relates to demo and collaboration with the neighbors. But let's get to the third part, which is going to be the building of our dirt pad and the associated process to be able to get to a point where we can act building. So let's get to it. So before we build our dirt pad, we need to know where that pad goes. And we're able to accomplish this with a few different pieces of the puzzle. And typically our civil engineering team comes out to be able to take care of 3 critical pieces that are necessary for us to build the pad in the appropriate location. The first of this is going to be our property corners. Now this is a weird pie-shaped lot. We've talked about it previously, but we have quite a few additional property corners than what would typically be found in, let's say, a rectangular lot. But as we sit here on the back of the property, we have our property pins in place that are marked with survey markers and tassels that are typically found in pink for any of our property corners or our blowouts. So with our property pins indicated appropriately, let's move to the next 2 pieces of information that we need from our civil engineering team. So the second piece of the puzzle is going to be our height benchmark so that we can be able to build the pad appropriately to the grading and drainage plan. As we can see here, we have an FF for finished floor height. So we're going to be able to have this as a base measurement that will help to exist for both our foundation pour, but right now, most importantly, for the soil work that needs to be done. So now we have our building corners in place and our height has been set. Let's move to the third critical piece of the puzzle. So now we're at the third piece of the puzzle, which is going to be our 5-foot blowouts for our building corners. So as you can see, we have one here in the back corner of the property where our primary bedroom will sit. And as we move up to the side yard, you'll see some additional 5-foot blowouts that are located here and here that will allow us to be able to understand where we need to build our pad, which we'll get to next. So why do we have a 5-foot blowout for our overall pad certification? Well, this is actually required by our geotechnical engineer who determines how far out we have to that's over excavate, to be able to ensure that we've removed all voids that might exist under the footprint of the home. It ensures that any unforeseen items are well outside of the footprint of the home, especially since we'll be doing a 3-part pour, which will allow us to ensure that our footings are sitting on new compacted soil. So let's move on and talk about the details of the over-excavation process. The over-excavation process is determined by our geotechnical engineer, where they determine how far down we have to over-ex, in this case about 2.5-3 feet, and how far out from the building we need to compact. In this case, we're going to go ahead and we're going to dig 3 feet down, remove any of the voids, such as the things that I mentioned in the previous video, as septic systems, cesspits, as well as any flood irrigation or voids that might exist underneath the slab. In doing this, it allows us to recompact appropriately so that when we're ready to place footings and place our foundation and slab, that everything is compacted and that our house will be able to reside here for the next 100 years. So to accomplish this task, we work in conjunction with our dirt work company that handles our G&Ds to be able to utilize their loader, this behemoth of a machine, to be able to excavate 3 feet down and then recompact in 6 to 12-inch increments and get our geotechnical engineering team to come out and do a compaction test rating to ensure that we have the appropriate density for the start of our build with this absolutely 100% critical portion of dirt work. So after all is said and done, we have our geotechnical engineer come out one more time to be able to certify our pad, which gets us to our final step, which allows us to get to the starting line to be able to go vertical. My hope is that this has been informative information for any of you that are looking to build a home, and more importantly, go back and take a look at all 3 videos to be able to get a full compilation of what it takes to get from an existing lot to a point where you can actually go vertical. We appreciate you following along our journey and can't wait to show you more progress on this project and many others. So subscribe below or DM us if you have any questions. And as always, have a great day.